Be happy, happy, happy.
Be happy, be happy, mommy.
Come on, keep your chin up. Enjoy this time.
Smile,
Smile, smile, my darling.
Honey, you gotta count your blessings.
Welcome to Creative Mamas Unplugged. We are your hosts. I'm Cherice Barton.
And I'm Shelly Hutchinson. Creative Mamas Unplugged is a podcast where we navigate the hell out of being a creative mom with humor and heart.
We will have honest conversations,
Hear wise words from fellow badass mamas.
and share hilarious stories around motherhood for some much-needed comic relief. Listen, motherhood is the most creative, most difficult job in the world. You are not alone, and you deserve to be happy.
You are in for another treat with the incredibly inspiring Jamie Denbo, this unbelievable gem of a woman. She is an actor, a writer, a comedian, and Grey's Anatomy's co-executive producer. Joins us again for more laughs, insights, and unfiltered honesty about balancing motherhood and a thriving creative career. Jamie also shares the joys and challenges of parenting in today's world, the push and pull of raising independent kids, and the importance of self-care and resilience. With her signature humor and wisdom, Jamie reminds us why trusting our instincts and embracing life's chaos can be so powerful. So settle in and get ready for part 2 with the brilliant Jamie Denbo.
What time, are you like a 5:30 in the morning wake up gal, or are you like a push the alarms? What is it?
Oh no, I'm up I don't even have to set an alarm. I wake up at 5:15 to let one stupid asshole dog out. And then at 6:00, I'm up and doing things. And I like, if on a perfect night, I am asleep by 10 o'clock. I'm useless after 10 o'clock if I am up, but that is my setting. I don't know when it happened, but now I love it. It makes me very happy. I think I saw Jamie Lee Curtis interviewed, when she was going through all of her stuff for the movie where she won the Oscar for the Everything Everywhere All at Once. And she was leaving parties at 9:20. And they were like, where are you going? She's like, I'm getting my 7 to 8 hours. That's how I do. And I was like, yeah, that's 100%. I get it. That makes me happy. That's what makes me happy. A good night's sleep. And I'm one of those people, if I don't exercise in the morning, I don't exercise. I'm a morning person. I think it just happened when I had kids too, because one of the most joyful things that I experienced when they were little was a full day adventure out in the world. And because of LA, you can't wait until 11 or 12 to leave, or you're going to be sitting in traffic for half of this adventure day. So I was always like, well, okay, we were on the road by 8 or 9 to go to Malibu for the day, or to go see something, go to the Renaissance Festival or to whatever. I was like, we're going early. So I think I just kind of kept that because I had such a positive association with a big full day. When you go to a place and everyone's stimulated, it's not through technology, they're having the best time, they've eaten well, they fall asleep in the car on the way home, those were the days where I was like, I did it. I killed it. I made everyone tired with wholesome, fresh air. That was it. Those were the best. And so I think maybe every day I'm trying to capture some of that. I never realized that before. That's why I like to start early.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oof.
And my job, it's funny, this job, because again, I've been at it now this is my 4th season on Grey's, and it is much more regimented in terms of my time commitment. It's been challenging. It has been challenging because because I have been a free spirit for so long, and it was always feast or famine. It's an adjustment. I work in an office, but obviously gratifying in a million ways because, listen, Grey's Anatomy is a collaborative effort, and it's one of those places where, because it has such a huge mouthpiece and such a big platform, that when you do get to say something or be a part of something that you feel proud of, even in some small way, someone says a line that you wrote, all of our scripts are so group written and all filtered through our showrunner and everything else. But when something gets through, even if it's, and for me, it's if it's a joke, I'm so excited, I got a joke on. But even if you get some kind of messaging that you feel really proud of, it's a different kind of pride that I did not know that I had access to. So that's another thing that gives me joy about being here.
That's really cool.
It's nice to be part of that. And a lot of like my kids' friends think it's cool. They don't because they won't watch it because I'm associated with it. But but a lot of their friends are very impressed. And I know that excites them.
That makes them impressed. Well, what's your kids' impression of like your life and your bio? Like and your husband?
It's like it's kids who grow up in LA and have so much of this. Like they're so unimpressed. Like they don't, in fact, they're so much more impressed when it's a friend's parent. Like my friend Jillian Vigman, who's a brilliant actress. She's actually one of my friends that I was mentioned before. Like she'll book commercials like that. Like you've seen her face a million times. And she's one of my dearest friends from like the comedy world and the acting world. And then we became parents around the same time. And she's just an angel. She, like we went to go see this indie film that she did with her son and my son and us. And my son was blown away. And her son was like, meh. Like, it's just so funny. It's like they don't care. It's LA. They don't care. I'm sure Jack Black's kid is like, I don't care. Like my dad, whatever. He's just my dad. It's that. But also like we're not famous either. So like famous. So it's like, there's only so excited they can get about like, my guest spot on Station 19.
I have a friend of mine the other day who he just said to me, he was like, do your kids realize, just because, like their uncle is Alan, I don't know, Alan Tudyk, okay, is my brother.
Oh, yes. I know him. I mean, it's been a while.
Alan, Alan's amazing. And he's been in everything. And when the kids, he's in all the Disney films. And so we would always be like, there's Uncle Alan. And they were just kind of like,
oh, yeah.
Now that they're getting older, they're starting to realize, because their friends are like, oh, or, just the fact that I went to New York and I took her backstage and Harry Potter is my friend. And you know what I mean? All of these connections that I have.
Well, that's when it gets interesting. That's when when suddenly like, oh, mom knows.
Yeah.
Who was the last person that we're excited about? Oh, like Amy Poehler, because she,
right.
I mean, for 1,000 years, you know what I mean? Like my husband and I met in her level 2 class, like that they're impressed with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That gets them excited.
But not impressed with mom and dad. And that's how I feel too.
I mean, although I will say like,
Mom, you're so annoying. You're always like, oh, I know that person. It's really annoying. Like they're just.
I know. I mean, sometimes we'll force them to like either come to our shows, like our live comedy stuff, or in certain cases be in them occasionally, just as like someone to work off of. I have this act that I do as an older Jewish woman named Beverly. It's like my alter ego. Anyway, I
know Beverly. I've seen Beverly.
Beverly. So I forced Nola, my daughter, to occasionally sit on stage and ring a bell every time I say something inappropriate. And honestly, it works because she's so like turned off and unappealed. Like this whole thing is so unappealing to her that it works. Because she's just supposed to be this like cynical little Gen Z kid that I'm just trying to get to like me as the character, and she won't give in, which is very funny. So, I think that she's impressed when there's a big audience that is delighted. That happens occasionally. We're very middling Hollywood people. Like we're not the ones who are like, do you guys want to go to the Grammys this year? Like, we can't do that. So I think they're just like, okay, like where's our screening room? Fuck you guys. Like, not that exciting.
That's right. But is it enough to like, use it to like parent? Like, you'll never work in this town again. I mean,
I haven't tried
you hold it over their head enough.
Have not tried it yet. Will it?
But your daughter, does she enjoy the spotlight? Because I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but she is an actress, right?
She is. I mean, she's she's in some ways she's a very typical teenager. And I wish, Cherice, that she'd been more interested in dance. I really do, because like I always joke about her, and this is not nice, but I'm like, oh, she's a real single threat. She can act. And listen, to be fair, she has a gorgeous voice. She just doesn't, it's not super trained or anything. She just doesn't really have occasion to use it very often. But, she is a beautiful actress. It's very hard to have grown up in that sort of Gen X parenting configuration, growing up in Massachusetts and whatever, with parents who are like, roll their eyes every time I said I wanted to be an actor, because that generation, I get it. Like everyone around me was like, I can't wait to be a doctor. And I was like, oh, what? Oh, more school? No, thanks. And also, like, it's terrifying to think that your kid is going to be an artist. I understand that, especially then. Please, I must have looked utterly insane to my parents, and I continue to look borderline insane to them. And so it's very hard for me to be like, gee, I sure would prefer you go to law school. But, there's just not, what am I supposed to do? I'm basically a party clown for a living. Listen, at this point, I mean, one of the things I will say, if you're a parent in Los Angeles, like normal parent, not, the Kardashians, but normal, the nice thing is that your kids are less impressed by the fame stuff. And, if you're a kid in the world, in America, kind of growing up the way I did, even now, you kind of go like, I want to be rich and famous. Like, and so I do think that what's nice about my daughter is she really does love the artistry, which to me, I believe that there are so many ways to express that and make a living without becoming an Oscar winner or a Tony winner, And so I have hope that, it's her love for the craft and for the art that will lead her to a life where she can function. But at this point, honestly, too, like, let's be real. We just want our kids to function as adults in the world. We have societally coddled them, myself included, to the point where I may or may not still occasionally, very often, be making lunches for my teenage children, which, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I'm doing a lot of their laundry. They know how to use the machines, kind of. But like, there are things that I'm just like, so is college, maybe the way I've started to think of it is it's kind of like adult camp. Like, you're going to go to camp to learn how to be an adult. It's a very fucking expensive adult camp, by the way. But the best I think we can hope for or want, unless you have one of those magical kids who's like, I'm going to pre-med and be a doctor, is go learn how to be an adult. Learn how to function with other human beings that you don't know very well. Some you'll like, some you won't. Learn how to get to classes on your own. Learn how to take transportation. Learn how to pay for things. Learn how to budget. Learn how to not be a dick. Like, I don't know, all the stuff we kind of have failed at, maybe. So far.
Adult camp. I love that.
No, it's so smart.
Yeah.
Well, because we're not even considered adults until 18 in society anyway.
Right.
So wouldn't you call it that? That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like, whatever she chooses, I just hope she can, support herself in a way that makes her proud. Learn how to choose good people to be around and be with. All the messages that, for one reason or another, I think were more instinctual when we were younger. They didn't need to be said out loud. Now there's so much outside influence working against that. Like, it didn't occur to me that I was capable. I don't know. I don't know.
You're so awesome.
You guys are awesome.
It's been so fun. It's so fun it's been really enlightening too, Jamie. It's
really nice to talk about.
Yeah.
Especially, I needed a reset today, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we all just can feel really bad about the job we're doing, and it's not fair. I don't think we're taking on a lot of stuff that isn't ours.
Yeah. Gosh, that's true, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's so true. And we're taking on, and we talk about it too. We're taking on a lot because we're taking on, our parents. I think I might have mentioned, to you when I wrote you, Jamie, about this like sandwich generation that we talk about. And
I'm so in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an only child. My parents are in Boston. My dad has had a lot of health issues. And so, I mean, I'm very much in the sandwich. Mm-hmm. It is not fun.
It's not fun.
But I am also learning it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter how hard things are, and they are harder for a lot of people than myself, but it matters if you have enough tools to deal with it, and if you've done enough work and self-care and confidence building and all the things that can help you meet that moment with grace and compassion for yourself. It's like in some ways it's been miserable, but also in some other ways I'm like, oh, well, I've also never been more prepared to deal with it because I've had a lot of really good self-care and support these past couple of years, preparing in some ways, not even knowing I was preparing for these moments, but it's just super important. It's like there's great opportunity in certain recovery programs, in therapy, like whatever you need to do to get yourself feeling good. Because then when life happens, it's just life happening and it's not your fault that it's happening.
No, yeah, I agree with the self-care. And I mean, I've said this on the pod so many times, I'm sure our listeners are like, here she goes again. But, I took a year off after pandemic for my mental health. And then another year where I dug in so fucking deep, and I had never done it my whole life. I would laugh at people when they would say, you should go to therapy, you should do this, you should that. I'll be like, when am I going to have time to do that? And so I spent so much time, and now I'm grateful for having all of those tools, because we are at a stage in our life where we do have to be able to step up and just deal with a lot more.
At this point, also, by the time you're 51, like me, you've lived long enough too that you've seen real tragedy. I've have friends and people who have lost children to all different things, and you start to see how people deal with some of the inevitable tragedy in life. There's no right way to do anything. This is not a judgment, by the way, on anyone who has ever been through that level of tragedy. But you also start to recognize that when you meet life in those moments, the people who are able to find meaning and joy and in the face of challenge are people who have done a certain amount of self-love. Self-love, self-care, they're all such blanket terms. You're like, okay, how the fuck do I love myself? How the fuck it's different for everybody. It's like for a lot of people, it's recovery programs. I'll say that again, in case anyone was wondering if I might have some sort of association with that. For a lot of people, it's group therapies, support groups, things that we think are almost, we don't deserve because our lives are okay. It's like, if you're suffering from a depleted self-esteem in any way, you might need that. It's hard to understand, like, because we're all so judgmental that like, well, I'm okay. I mean, I have food and I have a place to live and I can afford my car. And it's like, yeah, but life is going to get more complicated. It just does with age. Your parents are going to age. They're probably going to die before you. Your children are going to become complicated in lots of ways. And that's literally just how life works. And it's not your fault. It's life. And we have been told that if we power through, we can do it. And like, it's just important to go inward. Like what you were saying about taking that time. Our lives are going to get complicated and messy. They've been complicated and messy. We've been told to pretend that they haven't been. Like, stop that. Stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's the pug.
Oh my. How old?
She is, how old are you now? 4.5. She was a pandemic. I truly at one point during the pandemic said, if I don't get a pug puppy, I'm going to murder everybody here.
100%. What's her name?
This is Mabel.
Mabel. Well, look how cute she is.
She really is.
We all have the pandemic pups.
I feel like I didn't talk as much about being an artist, but
you are.
You just offered so much heart, and I appreciate you just being so honest about everything. And like,
we're gonna be speaking with Mindy Sterling.
I love Mindy Sterling.
Me too. I love her so much.
She is awesome, and she's an incredible mom.
Incredible mom.
Yep.
It makes me so emotional.
Listen, she's life on life's terms. Like she is. I am such a fan and lucky to be able to say that she's in my phone. We haven't communicated in a while, but like she's a hero of mine, truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's someone that continues to get on stage and be herself. And I'm just like, those are the people I look to. Like, I'm going to hopefully be performing as Beverly until I am Beverly's age, which is at this point 74, but she's lying and saying 70.
Oh, I love Beverly.
And is there anything you want to say about all of your, like what you have upcoming?
Well,
Live that anyone in LA could come
yes,
to?
you can subscribe at beverlylive.com for all upcoming appearances and shows and stuff of Beverly. And then I'm starting to do stand up again. So that's weird. So I'm not promoting that. I just said it, but I now regret it. But yeah, I always have random shows and stuff. My Instagram is Jamie Denbo, at Jamie Denbo. I usually put shows and stuff there. If anyone's in San Francisco who's listening, I've got a few shows going on with Rachel Bloom and Dan Greger and my husband, John Ross Bowie, up at the San Francisco Sketch Festival in January, but it's all up there.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
and it's so great to see you both.
It's so great. You have a beautiful day. This has just been such a nice start to my day.
Me too. Thank you so much for allowing me.
Oh
You're
my
awesome.
God.
You're
Oh my
so
God.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Creative Mamas Unplugged is produced by Breatheasy Productions with music by Jeremy Jurin. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give my mama 5 stars and keep coming back. Thanks to us kids, there are plenty of stories to tell. And you are not alone. Bye for now.